applications. Welcome once again to our quick guide on how to create and host a Django application on Heroku. In this video, we'll create our first Django application or project using Django framework and then see how we can host it to Heroku. Okay, but before we go any further, these are the few steps that we are going to be taking. Step 1, we'll see how we can download and install Python on our PC. And second, we'll see how we can still create our virtual environment that we are going to be using for our different projects. Okay. Then step 2, we'll see how to create our project and create our admin user and also connect MySQL DB to our project. Okay. And then in step 3, we'll see how we can prepare our project for for hosting. And then we'll also look at how to push our project to GitHub. Okay. Then in step 4, here we'll be publishing our application to Heroku, and that will be our final step. Okay, without wasting more time, let's head to step 1 and see how we can download and install Python into our system. Okay, to do so, we'll just go to our browser here and then type in Python download, like so. And then the first URL that comes up is where we'll go and click to check what version of Python is available. So since I'm on Mac, the default installation that is being presented me is this, but then you can go to downloads and then select the version of your system that you are working with. Okay, so besides that, then after that you can just download and install. Okay, so I hope by now you have successfully installed Python on your system. So the second step is how we can set up our virtual environment on our system. So to do so, you'll open up your terminal, your command line interface that you have. Then here I will just create a folder here. So I'll say make directory and I will call it Django project, yeah, like so. Then I will just cd Django project. Then here we need to create our virtual environment. Why do we need to create a virtual environment here? What you need to know that A virtual environment allows us to manage our separate installations for Django projects. Here we can't manage our different installed packages if we are working with our local system. Okay, for us to be able to manage our different packages installed, we need to create a virtual environment which will enable us manage our package installation for different Django projects. Okay, to do so, we'll just run this command. So it's a Python 3. Here I'm using Python 3. If you want to know the version of Python you are using, then you can just run this Python, then version like so. And this will print out the version of Python which is installed on your machine. Okay, but then if you want to use Python 3, you can just simply put Python 3 then hyphen version, and this will print the version of Python 3 installed on your machine. Okay, so in this case I have two different packages of Python, so I will go with Python 3, and in doing so I will just say Python 3 Alright, so after that then we can simply say source to activate our environment Django. I will just go into this folder that I've created here, and then say under bin I can just say activate right there. Good. And if you see the folder under parentheses, then it means you have successfully activated your virtual environment. Okay. Now the second step is setting up our project. Okay. So to do so, we'll go back to our terminal here, and here, since we are actively into our virtual environment, we can then install, we can then say pip install Django here. Okay. Alright, now our Django application has successfully finished installing. Let's try to go to our directory here and see how the project structure is. Or we can just simply say run that command, and it will show that in our directory we have Django installed here. Okay. So to test if our Django is successfully installed, we can just do that Django admin, then we can just find the version like so. Good, so it shows us that the version of Django which is installed on our virtual environment is 4.1.1. Alright, so with that said, we can go ahead and then create our project. And to do so is just running Django admin and then say start project like so. And then we can give our project as I can say Django app like so. Sorry, I made a mistake. It was supposed to be Django, so just do so. Yeah. So if we say SL, we have two applications. Let's go to our directory. I will just go to my home directory here, and then into our project here we have two, so I will delete this one. Okay, so then I will then navigate to my directory which I've just created, which is Django app, and from there I can then run pip I'm sorry, not pip, is you can then python manage.py, and then here we can migrate our project. Okay, so good. So this has successfully migrated our application and created a DB, which is MySQLite default database right here. So if we run this application, let me just open a new shell. If we can navigate to our project, Django, yeah, Django project, and then go into our Django app. And if we run our project from here, like python 3 manage.py run server, here we see that our project has launched at this URL. So what we can do is just simply copy this URL and then come into our browser here. If we paste that there, you can see that our project successfully loads. So we have successfully created our first Django application, and now our next step is how we can connect our Django application to a MySQLite database. Okay. Here I have my XAMPP already started. What am I doing? Okay. So I'll go to application and then put in my password. Okay, I'm using XAMPP on my machine, so just start here. Okay, it's already even started. All right, so what we can do is we just have to, maybe let's say configuration. Okay. Okay, what we are going to do is here we are adding our MySQLite database to our project. So to do so, we'll come into our application here on settings here, and then see how we can add. If we scroll down here, you see that we have our database right here. I think if you can see clearly, we have our database here. So We are going to change this database to a MySQLite database. So to do so, we'll just have to comment out this, and then maybe let's just uncomment, copy these settings here, and then we'll change our engine from SQLite to MySQL, and we'll remove the name here. So we'll just go here, and then I went ahead and created this configuration. So we'll just paste in those configuration. You can pause this video and then copy this configuration. Okay, so here our database name will be Django app, and the root will remain as it is. Everything will remain as it is. So I will just copy this, go to my browser, and just create a new tab, localhost. Okay, so when that opens, I will just head to my localhost there, and then databases, and let me just create our Django app right there. Good. So after that is done, then the next thing we need to do is to install. Okay, before even we do that, let me see. So we need to save our changes here, and okay, we have an issue here. We have an error here. Loading MySQL DB module. Did you install MySQL client? So they're asking us if we have installed MySQL client to our virtual environment. So we haven't. To do so, we can just head to our terminal here. Remember, we have our virtual environment enabled here. So we need to go where it is already enabled in the terminal, and then run this command pip 3 install MySQL client, like so. So this will install this MySQL connection client to your virtual environment application. Oops, we have an error. Why so? MySQL config not found. So if you are on Mac and then you bump into this error, all you need to do is to install MySQL client globally onto your machine, and then after that you can pip install your MySQL connection into your virtual environment. Okay, so to do so, if you're on Mac, you can just run this brew install, or if you're on Windows, you can just run apt get. This will run and then install this globally on Windows. For those on Windows, okay. So if you are using Mac, then you can just run brew install this command. Then after that, you can then enable this path into your virtual environment. Copy that, paste it there like so. Okay, I already ran this, installed this, so I won't do that. And then after that we can simply run our pip install MySQL client, like so. Okay. All right, so let's wait for it to install, to download and install. Now what we need to do is simply run Python 3 manage.py, and then we can run make migration. Okay, just run migrations, migrate, like so. Let's just so this has successfully migrated our application. Let's go to our MySQL local database and we see what we have. So if we go to localhost, then databases, and then select our database there, Django app. You see our application has, installed all the necessary tables that are required, like the user table, group table, and all that. So since that is done, we can then now simply come here and then start our server once more. .py and then run server. Oops, we have an error. It is run. Okay, sorry. So we need to first cd and then source Django. We need to enable the environment here also. So Django bin, then activate, activate, like so. Okay, then cd Django app. All right, so our environment is activated into this terminal also. So what we can do, we can just then run Python 3 manage.py and then say run server, like so. Okay, good. So this has started our server right here. So we can just copy this URL, go to our browser here. This is our browser. If we refresh our browser, we see that it's working perfectly. Okay, so that is done, and the next thing we need to do is to prepare our application. Okay, before we do that, let's create a user into our application. So to do so, we'll just create, just still run Python 3 manage.py and then run, not run, but create a super user, like so. And this will present us with the option of name, email, and also phones. So we can just say admin and email admin@admin.com. And then password, we can just give it 1 2 3 4 admin 1 2 3 4 admin, password 1 2 3 4 5 6 admin 1 2 3 4 5 6 admin, like so. Good. So our user has been successfully created. So if we navigate to our URL here and then add admin, like so, we are presented with a login. And if we put our password as admin, then 1 2 3 4 5 6 admin, we see that we are successfully logged into our Django application. Here we can even see that you may be able to add different users. For example, you can add a new user here. Just give him password 1 2 3 4 2 3 4 5 password 1 2 3 4 5 password. Yep. So there you create your user, and then you can give them names like Dan, then K, and email address Dan at that one. Okay. Here you can go ahead and assign permissions to this user. You can give him a permission of super user, and then you can even add him to groups here. Let's see if we don't have any group. So user permission, we can say he can log in, can delete. We can also give him this one. Yep, we can also give him that one. Good. And then save. So this is our user. And now what we can do here is prepare our project for upload, okay? For production, actually. So to do so, we'll need to install some packages into our application that will enable us to be able to host our project. And inside our settings file, we need to first of all, we need to define our static files. So if we go here, we see that we have our default static files. So all the JavaScript images that our application contains will be installed, will be added to a static to a folder called static. So remember that when we are hosting our application to Heroku, this folder will always be overwritten. So we need to find a way of catching those that static folder so that we don't run into issues. So to do so, we'll just come up here and then define import this module, which is OS. And after that, we can then just come here and This will be the root of our Heroku application. In case we will test that in a minute and see if we can be able to generate these static files into our application. Okay, so this will extract things like images, fonts, or any JavaScript file that we have in our project into one static folder. Okay. So after that, then we can go to our terminal and then install this package. We are having static file settings, not a tuple. Perhaps we forgot. Let's see. Let's go to here. I think we need to surround it with those square brackets. And if we save, yep, that should solve our issue. And we can go ahead and say pip 3 install white noise, like so. Okay, so this as I said, it will be the one responsible for managing our static files in our application when we host to Heroku. Okay, so we need to also define we need also to define the middleware, this white noise middleware, into our middleware section here. Actually here, our hardware, yep, just below this. You can just add that configuration there. Okay, so we can now head to section where we need to add the proc file. Remember, when we are hosting to Heroku, we require a file called proc, like so. And inside here, we'll just add web, and then comma. We add gun icon, and then we can specify our project name, which is Django project, like so. Then it will equal to WSGI. Okay. All right, so we need to go ahead and install this GunCon package into our application. To do so, we just come here, pip 3 install. Good, so that having done, then we can go ahead and okay, so we need to go ahead and set up our GitHub account and then host our application onto GitHub. So to do so, just go to GitHub, like so. If you don't have an account, it will require you to sign up. So me, I already have an account. I will go ahead and add a repository here. which we'll call Django application. Okay, and then it will be public. We create. Okay, so our project is created. You just have to copy this URL right here. Go into our project. We need to navigate inside our Django. Oh, sorry, this proc file was supposed to be inside here. Yep, inside our project here. Okay, so we can go to our terminal and we have an issue. Middleware must be in middleware in order to use the admin application. Okay, so let's go and fix that. What? Sorry, I forgot to add a comma there. So I think that should solve the issue. Good. Okay, so now what we need to do is to load our application onto GitHub. But before we do so, we need to first check if our static folders can be generated locally onto our machine. So to do so, we'll just simply, I'll clear that, we'll just simply run python3 manage.py, then sorry, it will be collect static, yep, static file copied to this. Okay, so right, so let's check our project and see what we have. If we go to our project here, we see that static folder has been generated. You see we have the folder for all the styles of admin, then the fonts, images, and we have the JavaScript over there. So these files will automatically be generated for Heroku when we are hosting there. So we don't need to generate them into our project. So we are just testing that, and yep, so we can go ahead and initialize our repository. So to do so, because we are under this project name, so it's where we need to run this command git init, and then git add everything, and then git commit just put initial commit, and then that will be committed to our repository. And we can say git branch main. Okay, and we can just copy this URL here, git this extra git there. Okay, then we can push our repo like so, git push origin main, like so. Okay, so our project has successfully been pushed to the GitHub. if we can refresh, you see we have our Django application here with our profile, with our but we don't need this database, so I will go into our project. We delete this SQL. So we have, this is our project directory, so this is where our Git has been initialized. So in this project we have the app folder, then we have this manage.py. okay, so we don't initialize this virtual environment because this is where our Django is installed, but this is our application. So in our command line, I went into our Django application, which is this one. So that's where we have initialized our Git. So we don't need to store this. And the next step we'll do is for Heroku to be able to recognize our Django application, we have to do two things. One is generate the requirement file, which will contain all the packages that are required for application to run on the Heroku platform. So to do so, we'll just run this command pip freeze, and then put that greater icon, and then we can just say requirements.text like so. So this will generate this file with all the packages that we are required. Remember, we installed this GunCon and also this white noise package. So, and our Django application also is there. So this is what Heroku will look for in order to be able to recognize the application and also the framework that is written under, and install it. Let's go ahead and also add what we call a runtime file. So this will be runtime.text. This file will contain the version of our Python. So you have Python Python 3.10.8. that is my Python version. But if you don't know the version of your Python package, then you can just come here and say Python 3, then version like so, and it will give you the version of the Python installed on your machine. Alright, so that having said, we can then go ahead and first also push these changes that we have made. Can go back to our command line, git add all, git commit, can say new requirements file like so. What is okay? We have missed a flag here. We need to add this M flag. Okay, so then we can then git push -u origin main like so. So this has successfully pushed our changes to the repository. Okay, what we need to do next is be able to connect our GitHub to Heroku. Okay, so to do so, we have tested everything. You just go and create an Heroku account if you don't have one. So since I already have, I'll just go to Heroku login. Okay, then I'll just go to this platform, and that will take a while. Okay, so we can then create our application right here and call it Django. Can call it Django app. Yep, it's not available. Okay, how about Django app? Sample demo. Yep, that should be available. Okay, Django sample demo. Then we can create our application. Choose pipeline. I will create a new pipeline and create it demo, and then we can create that, leave everything as it is, and it's good. Here we have our application right there. Okay, so we'll just copy this URL, but before we need to come to deployment and connect GitHub. So here you connect your GitHub, your repository. So here we'll put in our Django application that we uploaded. Search. Good. So we connect to this application like so. And then we can just come, after doing so, we can just come to our command line here. And just run Heroku. Okay, before that, let's just run deploy and see what we have. All right, and so our application has successfully deployed to Heroku. Let's see the URL. Oops, we are presented with this error. So let's first log this error and see what we are having, what is not happening here. You can just say Heroku log -a, then we can put our Django. It is Django application, Django sample. We can put, this is the name of our application. So you can just get that, paste it there, run. Let's wait. Good. So let's see what went wrong. No module named Django project. Oops. Have an issue here. The reason why we are getting this error, they're saying no module named Django project. So we can just come down here to our settings.py file, and when we come to here, okay, let me just expand this a little bit. Yep, when we come here to this application configuration, we see that the name of the application described here is Django app. So in our proc file, we specified the wrong one. Sorry for that. So I will just paste that right there. And if we exit and then git add git commit a new file changes, maybe like so. Then git push origin main. Okay, let's deploy again. I think it should work this time. Installing pip2, installing SQL. Our files, static files, have been cached, as you see right there. Good, so let's check our application once more. If we refresh, good, so we have successfully, don't worry about this error, but we can easily just remove this error. So it's saying you may need to add Django Heroku to allowed hosts. Okay, so if you don't want to allow debugging, to disable debugging in the production mode, you can just simply come here and change debug mode to false. So this will require to add some hosts here, allowed hosts, so we can just put our hosts right there and just add this one also, 127.0.1. that is our local host. So those are our allowed hosts. So that's, and also what we also need to do is let's see if we navigate to admin, what do we have? Okay, invalid HTTP host header. Okay, let's do so in production first. And yep. But also what we need to do is hide this secret key, because you can't host this one in production. To do so, we'll just come here into our project and create a file called .env file, and then we'll just copy our configuration file here and then paste it right. Actually, let me copy everything to be all this and then paste it there. And we can change also our debug to equal to false, let's say, or 0. Okay, so we can come here and then say secret key. Just copy this secret key. Just say secret key, we'll just say os.env file .get, and then we can pass in our secret key right there. Okay, so, and another thing we need to do is, so whenever we are working locally, this file will be automatically captured from this file right here that we have defined. Okay. What we need to do also is set debugging to, can just say os environment files, environment dot get, and then we can specify debug right there. Okay, so whenever you change this to 0, it will be in production, and yep. Okay. All right, so what we need to do is after hiding this, we need to come to okay, we need to come to our database here. The second thing we need to do is we need to configure our database to either production or development. So to do so, we can just check here and say create a condition, say if not debug mode. If it's not in debug mode, then we'll be in production. We'll do something here, do something. Okay, then else if we are in development mode, we can go ahead and use our local configuration. Okay, so we can just copy this. Right. Okay, just let me just space it. Database like so, and we'll equal to that. Okay, so I will just copy these settings here and put them here when we are in production. So this will be this. Okay, we need a bracket there. So now after installing that, we need to add another plugin. Just go to search and then Django database URL. Okay, we can just say that. Okay, we just copy this, install this. It enables us to use Heroku add-ons with Heroku database add-on URLs into our Django projects. So instead of defining our database like so, we'll need to use a URL which is going to be generated by Heroku. So to do so, we need to add this module to enable us configure our application with MySQL. So just copy that URL there. Say pip 3 install. Oh, sorry, it is install. So this will install this package into our application. Good, it has finished. So what we need to do, first of all, we need to run this pip 3 freeze, we need to add these to installables. So every time you add a new package, you need to add it to the requirement file. So freeze, then requirements.txt. Good, to be able to add our packages like so. So if we check, our URL has been added like so. Okay, so what we need to do now is go to, okay, so what we can do now is come here into our project and then import our DB URL like so. So we can then come here where we are defining our database when in production. You can just say prod db is equal to our database URL, then config, then here we can put we can pass in connection max edge, which we can give like 500, and here we can say databases default dot update, and then here we'll pass in our production prod db like so. Okay, so if we have success, this will overwrite our settings that we are having right here with this new configuration. Okay, so we need to do one more thing. We need to go to our Heroku application, and then under resources we'll go ahead and say type in MySQL. We'll use this one, and it gives us a free package, so we'll just add that there. If we go to app setting configuration, we can see we have this, so we'll put here debug, we'll put there 0. We don't want debug in production, so, and we'll change this one to, we'll come here and get this secret key in our environment. We'll just copy this entire URL, paste it there, then removes this. You can move that there, and then that there. Okay, so we have set our secret key, and we have added debug to 0, and here we can put it to true, which will be 1. Okay, because we are in production, but in development, in development we need to put it to true, then in production to false. Okay, so we have our URL, which is right there, and now we can go ahead and deploy our application once more. So git add git commit that's our base URL. Okay, then git push origin main. Okay, so let's go ahead and deploy our changes. Good. So let's check and see what we are having here. Good. So our application has successfully launched at this URL. Okay. So we have successfully pushed our application. Now what we need to do is migrate our make migration for our application. So here we'll just type Heroku run Python Python 3 manage.py. Actually, we don't need to specify Python 3 here. Manage.py. Then here we can just add Python A. Then paste our Django project name, which will be, yep, this one. Just copy that and let's add it there, and then can just add there migrate. Yep. So let's run that command. Okay, it's deploying. We got an error. Oh, MySQL can't connect to my server at this host. Oh, I think we need to change something. I think we need to change some settings. In our settings.py, we need to change the way we are initiating the variables. Okay, first of all, when we go to Heroku documentation, here they are telling us to declare this in a proc file, which we have done. And if we come down here, say as such you will need to configure your app's settings.py file to read these environment variables. So for us to be able to read these environment variables in Heroku, we need to change something here. I think the way we were declaring ours was not recognized in Heroku. So I will just copy this. And okay, it's already there. And then after declaring that variable, I will then remove all this that we had made, and then I will create a new if statement. If is Heroku, then we'll go ahead and say allowed we'll allow everything there, and then we say if not so, then another thing we need to define here is if not is Heroku. Okay, then here we'll just say we'll turn our debug to true. Okay, just true, like so. Okay, now if we compile again our application and say git add, then we commit. Let's go again and check our deploy. Okay, let's revisit our URL. Good, so now finally our URL has worked. So what we need to do is come here to our database. Remember we had configured it in this way, so we'll just change this one to if is Heroku. Then we'll go ahead and use that database, which will be this one. Otherwise, we'll use our local host. Okay. So then let's push again once more. Okay, good. Let's check our application. Good, everything is still working as expected. So let's go to command line here and then just run Heroku. Heroku run Python manage.py, then migrate. Perfect. So our migrations have worked as expected. Right, so now if we go to still our command line and then create run the same command, then here we can create super user. Okay, we'll call him admin, and then admin at admin.com, and then our password will be 123456 admin 123456 admin. Good. Okay, so admin has successfully been created. So if we come back here and then try to access our admin like so, and then put our admin password. Good, so we have successfully completed our video